is going on, everybody? What is up? This is Jon Does. This is episode 136. That's insane. That is insane. Well, anyways, before we get started today, before I introduce my guest here, don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support the channel. Oh, my speaker's on. There we go. It's the best place to support the channel. I got all kinds of cool stuff there. There's music videos that I make there, right up on the homepage. There's links to other art if you search around on the old website. And then there's a merch store, and there's some cool stuff in there. We got all kinds of t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseball tees, tank tops, that kind of cool stuff. And recently, well, a couple months ago, I guess we added some mugs and framed prints. So go check out all the fun stuff over there. It's super helpful, really helpful if you guys go over and buy something. So you probably saw the title of this episode. Aliens are real. And we had some congressional hearings this last week regarding some of that, and I just wanted to introduce, as you can see in the title, Aliens Are Real, featuring Real Alien. That is his name, Real Alien. Sorry, we haven't figured out pronouns for them yet, so they have we'll just stick with they. They have figured out, that we wanted to talk to them. They actually Real Alien over here actually wanted to talk to me. Isn't that right? Whoops. Sorry, I muted your mic. You reached out to me, correct? Sorry, what was that? Okay. So, Real Alien reached out to me and was like, hey, you have the perfect podcast demographic for me to introduce myself to the world. So, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about yourself? Fascinating. That is the craziest story I've ever heard. We are just discovering aliens are real, so it's crazy to know that is not only that you exist, but that's the kind of thing that you had to go through to get here. Ooh, that must have been real scary. No way. So your brother did that? Well, I guess what we would consider your brother. Here on Earth, we have parents, and sometimes they make babies, and sometimes there's like one type of baby, and then there's another type of baby. My parents had two of one kind of baby, and then one of another kind of baby. And so the one that's like me is my brother, but he's older. He's a couple years older, which is probably very different than how you deal with time, right? Whoa. Crazy. That's insane. So yeah, there was this congressional hearing earlier this week that talked about UAPs, which you find offensive, correct? He said very offensive. What do you prefer? Oh, okay. I think that might be the most PC thing I've ever heard. I think that literally works for everybody. Wait, so what about Oh, I see. Okay, well, whatever you prefer. Did you want anything to eat or drink while you're here? Okay. So you're good. Usually Pat is my other co-host, which I'm sure you'd know because you've watched the podcast multiple times. You know this audience well. Pat, he's usually here. He usually when I have another host, Pat being the main one. We've had other people here before. I usually offer them a drink, but that's apparently not something you need. So it's insane, Real Alien wanted to let my audience know first that we are not alone. What's up, Jason? Well, yeah, we've just been having a conversation because so Chris, oh, this is gonna be a fun episode. I've kind of lost it today, so this is Real Alien. That's their preferred name. Just to catch you guys up, yeah, this is Real Alien, preferred name. We have started discussing about the congressional hearings earlier this week regarding aliens, and Real Alien here tells me that UAP and UFO are both highly offensive. And so what was it again? One more time? Oh, no. I wasn't asking you a question. What do you prefer, Earthlings call UFOs or things that we're not used to? Oh, okay. I think we can do that. You guys got that? Can you guys make sure all your friends know that UAPs and UFOs are actually offensive? That's what they're called. Yeah, anyways, Real Alien was telling me this crazy story about the trip here. We as humans think like, oh my god, aliens exist and they're real, but the story gets even crazier. So yeah, continue. No way. That'd be really difficult for you. Huh. I hadn't thought about it like that, but I guess so. Huh. Well, nobody knows us like our family or pod. I don't know. I don't know what you guys refer to your close-knit, biological friends. I don't know what you call them. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions for Real Alien, please send them in. Because we've got Real Alien for the next probably till the rest of the show for sure. Just because Pat couldn't make it here today, and like I said, it was a big week for extraterrestrials. Is that okay? Okay. Extraterrestrials, fine. That's not too offensive. I mean, you could call us the same thing if we went to your planet, and I probably would not be offended. So, just wanted to let you know, because we're not quite there. We haven't figured out the technology you guys have figured out to travel that far to other, sustainable planets, or planets where there's other creatures, or maybe we've been there, and the government's been lying about it the whole time. Oh, we've only made it to the moon. I already noticed we lost one viewer. I'm sorry, Real Alien. That's... Yeah, is your hearing superior? I guess the question really is like, it sounds like a turtle. Hey, well, maybe. I mean, do you guys have turtles on your planet? No. Okay. Well, we have turtles here, and sometimes they like to do things to each other. Most species on this planet will have intercourse of some kind, you know, and sometimes you reproduce, sometimes you're just in it for fun. So yeah, yeah, the turtles busting in it. That's apparently what you sound like. Which one? This one? And so, oh yeah, what I was getting at was I was helping get the question across to you, because I know you don't read English, or Earthling, whatever. There's a lot of different kind of languages here, just so you know. Do your ears pick up high frequencies or low frequencies? What kind of what kind of range do you have to your hearing? Okay, so basically it's worse than ours. You just have way huge ears to like do 3 times the work that our ears do. Is that correct? Okay, so we'll get you hooked up. Pat actually knows, well, Pat works in the medical industry here, so it's things to help humans feel better. There's a lot of weird technology that you can do to enhance your life, or, you know, feel more confident or whatever. And one of those things we could do is maybe we could get you some hearing aids. I know a few people that might have good recommendations. So would you be interested in hearing better? Okay, well, we'll maybe set that up. Let's see. Do you think the surge of BS alien sightings is to cover up the truth of AI? Well, okay. Do you think that, you know, usually there's a lot of things going on in politics, and there's a theory that whenever the government starts talking about alien sightings more, it's to distract from something else happening. So do you think that more sightings of you, for example, are to cover up that artificial intelligence, computers, things like that are taking over, and that's why we're, you know, hearing more about you guys than like the actual problem? That is okay, Jason. I don't know if you understood that. The answer to your question is AI has already taken over, in that AI is actually being highly truthful. It's the shape-shifting lizard people that are not being honest with you. So I gotta ask you, have you met the lizard people yet? Very much not a fan. I don't think most of us are either. I don't know. Let's see. We got some other stuff. How does the alien? This is from Commander Chris. How does the alien reproduce? Ew, that's disgusting. Did you hear that? That is the... Okay, look, no kink shame here. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Apparently their eyeballs protrude. And then there's an orifice somewhere where our anus would be. But it's a mixture of like a vagina anus, apparently. And the eyeball protrudes and rubs up against like a part of it. It sounds like it sounds like, you know, not terribly far off, just different parts of our body that do that. So that's weird. Let's see. Any other questions that I have? We want to get through some of these questions because Real Alien, like, let's be real. Real Alien has been answering a lot of questions lately, and I appreciate your time, but we don't want to like waste yours by just like repeating the same things over and over again. So we'll get to some like other topics to talk about. Mainly this one that I'm sure you'll appreciate as well. But let's see. Any other questions for Real Alien? Do you have, how does your alphabet work? Is it, there's a lot of different kinds of ways that humans communicate throughout our cultures, societies, and things like that. Is there, like, on your, wherever you're from, which is, where, by the way? Oh, I've never heard of that place. Is there like a whole bunch of different cultures there, or is it just one, superior species that is in charge of everything? Maybe there's, like we have animals and insects and reptiles and stuff like that are awesome, but we tend to view ourselves as the dominant species in this. Like usually dogs hang out with us because we feed them and shelter them and stuff like that. So do you guys have any sort of hierarchy in that sense? Like is it just your species, or is there a whole bunch of other languages? That's fascinating. I don't know if you guys are as fascinated with this conversation as I am. This is incredible stuff here. Real Alien is solving some of the universe's deepest mysteries that are only coming to light now. So I can't show you his legs, or sorry, their legs, without being demonetized by YouTube. So we'll just say they're featherless chicken legs without the claw part. That's kind of what they look like, which, if you can imagine, that is a tiny bit phallic. So that's why I'm concerned about showing this on YouTube, because I don't want to get demonetized. I don't want all of the ads that you guys see on this channel, none of them. I don't want to lose the millions that I'm making currently. We've lost all the viewers, according to YouTube. Okay, well, you know what? Since nobody's really interested in this and doesn't want to know more about you, Real Alien, and where you're from, and let me ask you one or two more questions, get some things out of the way, I guess, and then we can move on. We can move on a little bit. Let's see. The answer to is there life besides us in the universe obviously is yes. We've solved this one. Real Alien is here to prove that. Correct? That's how they nod, is they bounce a little bit, like they fidget. It's fine. You guys will love fidget spinners, by the way. How is your society structured? I mean, is there a government? Is there like a body of a lot of people that run things? Is it like one dictator? Is it a group of people? Sorry, extraterrestrials. Just how does that work? Oh, okay. So that's weird. So it's like a couple of people that run things, but then they're monitored by one person who, like, okay, let me see if I can get this straight. If one person fails to show up for their job, they get reduced to ashes? One more time. I don't know if my translation has picked that up yet. Oh, okay. So if somebody doesn't show up to work, they get 15 lashes. I see. Gotcha. So it's like a pirate ship, basically. You're working on the ship, and you didn't set the sails properly, and somebody flies overboard during a storm. It's your fault. 15 lashes. That's how that worked. I know boat stuff. Last question I have for you. Unless anybody in the chat has any more questions. Have you seen the movie Star Wars? That's okay. So I don't know if you guys understood that. So basically, Star Wars actually happened. More in their corner of the galaxy, the universe. Whatever universe. And it didn't quite exactly happen that way. Apparently, stormtroopers can be black, so we've cleared that up. Thank you. That's been a big argument on Earth for a while. Can stormtroopers be black? I think that came up, 2015, 16, something like that. So thank you for clearing that up. It's really helpful. So Star Wars happened. It was less of a family dynamic thing. I mean, there was a family dynamic, but it gets weirdly incestuous, kind of like the British monarchy. And less laser swords and more, what was it? What was the term you used? Okay, I'm not sure I'm quite familiar with that one. So what's that like? What's that? So you're saying they didn't have lightsabers like in the movies. They used different kinds of weapons, but I'm not quite sure what a necro hammer is. Oh, okay. So it's a sex thing for sure. That's wow. Okay. So what you're saying is war on your planet is a giant orgy. Correct? Well, everybody, I think this might be the last episode of Jon Does. I will be moving to a different planet. War seems more useful, where real aliens from. The last thing, thank you for clearing up some of the Star Wars stuff. It's interesting to know that it was, it actually mostly took place. But what I was noticing while you were talking is that you can talk and then say two things at the same time. Do you mind demonstrating that for us one more time? That's super weird. So it's kind of like how Tuvan throat singing, Mongolian throat singing, you're utilizing multiple notes with your voice, which isn't how we normally do. But apparently they've got 6 vocal cords, and that's not even the tip of it. But Real Alien did say that their voice was kind of scratchy today, so they're gonna kind of take it easy. Maybe next time, if you're more than welcome to come on again, if you want to. You don't have to commit to anything now, but you're more than welcome to. So yeah, because I think everybody's having a great time. And learning more about you and your culture, Let's move this camera over a little bit more so get some more real alien in there. There we go. There we go. All right. So again, thank you for answering some questions. Now, are you ready to just hang out? You ready to just chill and kick it with good old Jon? Okay. All right. So look, there's a lot of things going on in the world. The SAG strike's still going on. I've been getting a little sad about that because I see a lot of people that are highly misinformed about things. I'm even getting downvoted by people on Reddit right now because somebody tweeted out that A24 is able to produce movies right now, or there's 2 productions going on from A24 right now. And they can adhere to these standards. Why can't, or terms from SAG-AFTRA, why can't the big studios do that? And the simple answer to that is they have 2 different terms because A24 is not a part of AMPTP. I think they're still considered an indie studio. And so the terms for various lower level studios is different. There's like 39 other productions that are still happening right now that all meet the terms of what SAG-AFTRA is asking for, whatever terms they're presenting to these levels of production. So like, of course, Disney, WB, Netflix, the big ones, like they're not going. But like A24 is, even though they're upping their budgets on some of their films, they're still considered indie. I think the average, cost of one of their films is like 20 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but in movies, it's not. Blue Beetle, well, that might be a bad example, but Blue Beetle, I think, is like 90 million or something like that. So I think it's anything under like 15 or 20 million, I think, is still indie. I don't know the specifics on that. I don't know if we ever discussed that in one of my classes, but yeah, anyways, A24 is under slightly different terms than what SAG-AFTRA is asking from the bigger AMPTP. So I just wanted to clear that up. That's why. I don't know. I don't even know why people were getting mad at me. I didn't even say any, like, I'm supportive of the SAG and the WGA strikes, very much so. I think that they deserve more, and it's really unfortunate how little people understand the work. Not just the work that goes into writing something, but how the jobs work. So let's say you're a writer. It used to be you would maybe get a show. You'd get onto a show and you'd work for, maybe if you're lucky, a couple months because you got a show that's like a full 22 episodes or whatever. So you're writing constantly throughout the show's production. But let's say you don't get brought back for the next season. That means you have to go find another job. And sure, a lot of us have to do that. But it's contract work, so you don't know when your next job is coming. So, somebody asking for higher residuals and a slightly higher living wage, that is absolutely the responsible thing, especially when you live in Southern California, where it's really expensive. Rent is like, I think the average in LA for like a 1-bedroom apartment is like 25, maybe three grand a month, something like that. Rent is expensive. You definitely have a car if you're living in LA. You have to have your cell phone, all of these basic amenities and things like that. Plus, to get health care from SAG, you have to have made $26,000 off of contracts, from what I understand. You have to, if you want to keep your health insurance through residuals, I might have this wrong as well. But what I understood was through residuals, you have to make $100,000 to keep your health insurance through just residuals. So that's a ton. That makes healthcare really expensive. When you're part of a union. Just so we're clear, I believe in healthcare for all. I don't believe that healthcare should be attached to your employment. I think that's crazy. But the fact that that's how it is, well, employers should have to be able to, should be responsible for maintaining these a standard of healthcare for their employers. So that's just my 2 cents on healthcare. I know it can be a tricky or touchy subject, but that's just my 2 cents. So yeah, it makes me sad to see so many people who I know consume TV, media, whatever, and just saying, well, they're writing shitty movies anyways. The shows they're writing anyways are garbage. So why do they deserve more money? They deserve a living wage regardless of if you think it's good or not. I don't care who you are. If you put in work for somebody, you should get paid. I don't care if you think subjectively it's bad or good. That's your opinion. But a company stepped into a contract with the person or negotiations or, some sort of arrangement where they do work and should get paid accordingly. And it's not happening. So, sorry, I'm still tripping out. There's an alien sitting next to me. What is going on here? Again, do you have any input on the SAG? Here, I'll move your mic a little closer. Do you have any opinions on the writer's strike in Hollywood right now, or are you familiar with Earth movies, entertainment? You familiar with any of this stuff? Okay. Okay. So yeah, Real Alien says all Earth media is consumed on not just their planet but other planets. So you're confirming that there's not just you out there? There's other. Huh. Okay. So that's another huge revelation. So, Real Alien says he agrees healthcare should be free. And Earth Entertainment is how they started learning our, because we broadcast these signals up into space, So you've learned some of our customs from television. That's interesting. What kinds of content have you consumed? All right. Okay. Let's go. So Real Alien likes a lot of Telemundo, coincidentally. You might know this because you are a fan of Jon Does. And Jon Does is one of the things that you've been watching over the last year or so. I used to work for Telemundo. I used to work at a Telemundo station in Sacramento, California. I was the master control operator there. I ran the commercial breaks. I even helped shoot some of the news stuff in the early days when there wasn't a news department. It was just master control and production. Because little known fact, a lot of the TV stations have to run a certain amount of time of local broadcast. and we didn't quite cover that by not much. It was like a couple of minutes. So we would do like 1 or 2-minute little news briefs that ran during the commercials. So I used to edit some of that stuff too. What is your favorite show on Telemundo? Okay, Casa Cerrado. I get it. Oh man, you and I are on the same page here. Casa Cerrado is amazing. Is it still on? I'm sure it's on. It's been on since like the early 90s, I think. It's essentially, if you're not familiar, it's essentially Judge Judy. She I think she's from Florida. She's Latina woman, and she is a firecracker. She's great. The best part about that show is that she sings her own theme song, and it's just yeah, that's the one. Casa Cerrado. We did a little harmony there. That was amazing. So Casa Cerrado, that one's great because it's essentially Judge Judy, and you get to see people have conflict and all kinds of stuff. One of my favorite episodes, there was this guy who was, I don't remember what the like situation was, why they were in court, but there was this guy and he was like kind of shady, and he had this girl with him when they were in the courtroom. I don't remember if one person was suing the other person or not, but or what the situation was there, but they were like, is she drunk? And he was like, no, she's not drunk, and then they had backstage footage of of the couple, and he pulls out an entire like full bottle of, I think it was like tequila or vodka, like a full like a fifth. Is that a fifth? No. It wasn't a handle. It was just like a regular bottle, but it was huge. And he pulls it from his sock. Like, how are you hiding this giant ass bottle in your sock? And then he's like pouring out pills into his hands, which were probably Altoids or something. And it was like comical. It was like, usually if you're taking a pill out or something, you like kind of shake out 1 or 2 or maybe even stick your finger in and like slide one out or whatever. This guy was just like total cartoony, like just dumping him into his hands and like shoving him in her face and then like making her drink. It was hilarious. By the way, all of that stuff scripted. Even American stuff, it's all scripted. They might take like these people do have like conflict or whatever, but it's usually minimal, and the show pays for those kinds. So if like somebody wins the case or whatever, they'll win like $1,500 or something like that. In our currency, that's a decent amount of money. That's like maybe a person's like paycheck, maybe a little bit more than a person's paycheck, depending on where you work. And I think it's higher than the average paycheck, about $1,500, but it's maybe not by much for a full-time person. Depending on job. I'm not trying to get in arguments with you guys. I'm just trying to get some points across to our real alien friend. Let me know in the chat. Are you guys enjoying this episode? Are you excited about aliens being here? Because I know I'm stoked about this. Look, I worked a job. I did some landscaping. I lived up in the San Francisco Bay Area for a while, and I did some landscaping. And one day I was at the job, and my boss had said, if aliens came down and offered to take you into space, but you could never come back to see your friends or family again, would you take that? And she was like, no, I'd never do that. I could never leave my friends or family. And I was like, I'm sorry, everybody. I love you all. I would jump on that UFO in a heartbeat. There would be zero hesitation. I would just be out. give me that opportunity to fly through space. You know, maybe trying some like weird alien drugs. I don't know. You guys know what Viagra is? Anyways, yeah, you know, like getting loose. This might be the most unhinged episode I've ever done, by the way. Sorry, just kind of... Oh boy. All right, look, we got about 18 minutes left or so. I want to talk about something that you might find interesting as well. There is this band from the 60s. It got super popular in the 70s and have just remained one of these highly influential bands throughout our culture. And that band is called Pink Floyd. They had some issues. There was some inner turmoil between the band dynamics. And, yeah, I know, it's super interesting. Anyways, the bass player, his name's Roger Waters. I know he did a lot of songwriting as well. He in the band parted ways, and long story short, they're really not friends. The remaining members had toured under the Pink Floyd title for a while. They even put out music after Roger Waters was gone, to pretty good success, by the way. Roger Waters has been a bitter person, maybe uninformed in certain aspects of things, but recently Roger Waters decided, and I think part of this was because maybe he's been thinking about this for a while, but there's an album that came out called The Wall. It's one of my least favorite Pink Floyd albums, even though it's one of the most popular. He'd been touring that record for a long time. There's a whole big stage production that comes with it. You know, he'd been doing that for a while. There's some imagery that went along with that specific record, and there's even a movie they did, and all these themes of like dictatorship, fashion, basically Nazi types of things had come up. And it's become one of those things that, you know, nowadays people are like, oh, is he a Nazi? Because he keeps like regurgitating the same thing over and over again, which I can't say yes or no. He might be. I don't know. I do know it's been part of the theme since that record came out. So I don't totally fault him for, you know, doing that. My problem is that Roger Waters has failed to move forward in his life. He's still stuck on this one era of his life. And I think that kind of got through because he's had some recent controversies. People have said some things about him publicly. Some more, I know this is crazy, more famous people than me. I know that's weird. Have made some statements about Roger Waters, and I was just checking the camera real quick. Fix this. Every once in a while, I gotta just adjust the lens there. Okay, looking good. So Roger Waters has decided he was going to re-record one of his other most famous records. One of Pink Floyd's other most famous records, called Dark Side of the Moon, which you've passed on the way here. Any sort of opinions, like just while you're traveling, like, you know, you see interesting space or landscapes, you know, and you pass by the Dark Side of the Moon, correct? Okay, so there's a record that somebody made about that specific portion of the moon. It's really interesting. Unfortunately, they don't even talk about aliens on that record, but even though there's the whole space theme in there, Iconic record cover. It's a prism, and you see light going in one side and a rainbow coming out the other side, because, you know, that's how light works. Wait a minute. Did you just say something to me without talking? You did? Hold on. Wait, do that again. You have telepathy, dude? I had no idea. My dude's got telepathy over here. Okay, look, we gotta not do that on the show so much so everybody else can hear, but that's really interesting. So if you, like, want to, like, tell me secrets or jokes or stuff, you can do that. Do the telepathy thing when you want it. Oh, boy. That was weird. That feels really weird when you do that. Okay, so yeah, Roger Waters, he's putting out this Redux version of Dark Side of the Moon, and I think there's only one single from it so far. It's a song called Money. It's our currency. Oh my God, I hated it. I hated it so much. I really did not like it. From a song that, you know, has decades, that we've all had decades to absorb, the version, the take that he did on it didn't do anything for me, because the subject of the song kind of negates the tone to me. Not the tone of the music, but the feel, the vibe of the song. Like, they don't have the same weight to it. The music doesn't hold the same weight that the lyrics do, but the original version, they complement each other a little bit more. There's all these sounds going on of, like, cash registers and you know, ching ching, ding, 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 the machines and stuff like that. It works. This one very much for me does not. And then the vocals kick in. And it's like Roger Waters is trying to do like Tom Waits thing. He's got this lower gravelly voice that I'm not very used to when it comes to Roger Waters. Now, look, I've been recording some music myself. I have experimented on a song recently where I do a more lower gravelly thing, and I think it works for me. I'm still trying to find my voice as a singer, because I hate doing it. I really don't like singing very much. I don't like the vocal process. Doing it myself, I just like putting stuff together. And look, I'm not saying I do a better job. I don't know that I do a better job. I think, though, that when I was trying to do what I was doing, I think it ended up working more for what I'm creating in the song. But then you have somebody who is a songwriter that has been given awards and millions of dollars for their songwriting, and to try something like this where the tone and the vibe of the song just feels off already, and then to just like lay over it with this, again, this Tom Waitsy type thing, it just does not work for me, like, at all. I'm highly disappointed by it. I didn't have too many high expectations for it, because I'll be honest, and you might have picked this up, I'm not a big Roger Waters fan. I don't know. He's said some stupid things, I think. And I think he is single-handedly destroying the legacy of one of the bands that he was a co-founder of. And I don't think he's doing himself any favors. The rest of the guys from Pink Floyd, some of them have since passed away. Rick Wright, Nick Mason still? I think Nick Mason's still alive, and David Gilmour is definitely still alive. David Gilmour, I I really appreciate him as a musician, and I like listening to him talk sometimes when he does talk about stuff. But for the most part, he just kind of keeps to his own little corner and doesn't really say too much. I mean, for me, I see it when there's guitar stuff or gear, or maybe even like a Pink Floyd documentary or something like that. But yeah, I'm not excited about this Pink Floyd, or sorry, the Dark Side of the Moon Redux. I think they've done this. I forget if they've done it, but a reissue with maybe like demos. I think they've done this in the past. I'm more open to that, where you like get to hear like demo versions of things. And Mars Volta, I know a lot of bands have done things like this. Mars Volta for me was one where they put out stuff on, was it Universal? And then over the last couple years, they had re-recorded I don't remember how much of they might have done the whole thing. I definitely know that Delouse and the Comatorium was something that they remixed and remastered. They might have even added some new parts, and that works for me too, because you do get a variation on that track, but it's not a whole new thing. So I think bands can pull it off. I just don't like Roger Waters very much, and I wish he would, just shut up sometimes. Shut up and listen sometimes. I don't know. What do I know? Roger Waters, if you're watching this, you want a hug? We can hug. Real Alien might be down to give you a hug. What do you think about that? I can't repeat what he just said. Can you answer that cleanly? Would you give Roger Waters a hug? I'm sorry, you jumped the gun. Oh, okay. Well, Real Alien doesn't really seem interested in a whole lot of human contact, physical contact. I wonder, you were saying your throat's sore. I wonder if the lozenges I have in my bathroom would be helpful, or do you need something different for your six? You said 6 vocal cords? That's crazy. We can try to figure it out. No way. So apparently cannabis gummies are the best solution for extraterrestrial sore throats. Really? That's so weird. So he was, they were in, it wasn't Area 51, because Area 51 is a hoax, correct? Okay, yeah, see, more information. Area 51 is a weapons testing facility. There's actually different alien crash sites and would you consider them prisons? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Me too. Especially the way they treated most of the other ones. Most of those other stories I heard about. But Real Alien over here was at a government facility in Denver, Colorado. And apparently, had a big part to do with the legalization over there. So, hey, that's congratulations on that. That's a big feat, actually. You don't have big feet, but that was a big feat. Don't get that confused with Bigfoot, though, because that's another thing. That's a whole thing. We'll go over that later. Maybe you can help us find Bigfoot. He is my cousin. So let's see. Roger Water thing. I'm kind of over that. Well, real quick, did you have any opinions on? Do you know Pink Floyd? Have you ever listened to them? And if you have, what's your opinion on the whole Roger Waters Pink Floyd thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get your perspective on that, but I just don't like that record very much. So for those out there, for those audio listeners out there, Real Alien has listened to Pink Floyd quite extensively, actually, during that stint in Colorado. That makes all the sense in the world. That's where you were also introduced to blacklight posters and tie-dyed for the first time, which is also not surprising. That's where most 14-year-olds figure that out as well. I'm not degrading you. I'm not calling you a 14-year-old. You're new to this place, so I get it. That's just, humans. Humans are silly, right? Well, the other thing that sorry, what was your thoughts on Roger Waters? Okay, not a fan. Great, fantastic. It is about 7:00. If anybody, well, it's 6:58 ish, and if anybody has any other questions for Real Alien, let's get those in the next minute or two. If not, then we'll call this a show, and maybe we'll have you back on one of these days. There's days when Pat can't make it on. I do have a hard time fitting three people here at this desk. So I usually just do me and one other person. So if Pat can't make it, are you willing to come back and co-host with me? Okay, cool. That was a enthusiastic yes. Well, I'm going to stall for another minute or so. Just stall, see if anybody has any questions. Are you okay with answering like one or two more questions in case? All right. Well, sorry, that was I just realized they did the telepathy thing. So he said, yeah, if you guys are still out there and got a minute, throw in some alien questions and we'll get them answered real quick. But yeah, if not, then we'll probably just call it a show. And yeah, I want to thank my guest, Real Alien. I enjoyed having you on. I hope our guests enjoyed having you on, because this was really insightful. We got to know a lot about somebody we didn't know before. And do you have any social media or anything like that you want to share where the people can find you? So they are about to start an account on X. So I don't think you should use X. I think a lot of people are kind of starting to jump ship on that one. I mean, there's a hole. So maybe we can do an episode where we catch you up on all that. But if you're looking for something like that, maybe try Threads. I don't know. I have no skin in the game because I don't have either. I don't use Twitter, and I don't use Threads because that kind of social media has never been something I felt was helpful. Let's argue with each other on the internet in 140 characters and in an emoji or two. I don't know. I get it. Other people have their own thing with it. I just have never liked it. Even before Elon owned Twitter, I always hated Twitter. X now. So just a suggestion. Think about something else. All right. Well, got no other questions from anybody, so we'll start calling it here. Any final words? Alrighty. Let's see. I hope you all have a good weekend. Before we get going, though, don't forget to check out wilddinosaur.com. It's the best place to support the channel. There is a merch store there that you can buy some of the artwork that I have made, that I have put up on t-shirts and sweatshirts and tank tops and mugs and framed prints and stickers and all kinds of stuff. So don't forget to check that out. And the other, follow my Instagram as well too. If you get on Instagram, you're gonna have to start following me, and that's where you can sign up for threads there as well, I think. I don't know if it's all whole package deal or not. If you get Facebook, you start a Facebook account, you might have also just accidentally started a threads and Instagram at the same time. We'll go over that later though. Social media is weird. So go follow me over on Instagram. There is, I've been taking a little bit of a break from the real history stuff just because I felt like they're starting to get a tiny bit stale, so I wanted to take a little bit of time and work on the next handful of scripts. But you usually throw those up there. I have some Photoshop stuff that I've been doing up there. Most of the designs you find in the store, that's where I posted them originally. I'll have more stuff coming to Instagram soonish, hopefully. I'm gonna have some work coming up too, so I might be well, I can talk about that some other time. But wilddinosaur.com, wilddinosaur on Instagram, at @the_wild_dinosaur. And the last thing that I like to do is there's a link in the description to donate to Planned Parenthood, because I think Planned Parenthood does a lot of awesome stuff. They had my back in the past, and ultimately they'll have yours as well. So consider donating to to Planned Parenthood, because they do some great stuff. That is actual healthcare, Anyways, you know what? I don't know when Pat's coming back, but I'll be back next Friday after I work one of my jobs. That sounds like I have multiple jobs. It's a contract thing, but whatever. Talk about that later. Y'all have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.